Hello. So, I thought, let's look at something different. And when I mean different, really different. So, here's a look at an OS I bet you never thought you'd see on this channel. And that is Microsoft Windows 11. So, why? Well, why not? In my life, I've been a Windows administrator. I've had to look after Windows machines as well as being a Linux admin. And of course, personally, I'm sure you all know at this point, on my own machine, I only run Windows. I only run Linux. Good grief, I don't run Windows on my own machines. Um, Not necessarily because I have anything against the OS. The, what I need to do, I can do in Linux, and I can do it pretty well in Linux, and I'm comfortable in Linux in more recent years. My family's machines, well, some of them run Linux, some of them run Windows, etc. So, in case you didn't know, let's take a look here. And to install Windows in more recent times, it's a lot simpler than it used to be. So I'm gonna, you have your language installed, time and currency. Gonna hit next. Gonna hit install. Don't have a product key. I'm gonna select just Windows 11 Pro. And of course, this PC can't run Windows 11 in Virtualbox. Yes, so we're gonna have to work around that one. Okay, so of course, Windows 11 has new hardware requirements, TPM, and I actually forgot at the start of this video that Virtualbox doesn't support that yet on the box. So we're gonna have to do a bit of a workaround, and let's do it together. So we're going to shift F10, and we are going to go into regedit, and we are going to go into hockey local machine, system, setup, and we're gonna right click, and we're gonna say new key, and we're gonna call this new key lab config. Okay, so what we're going to do now in lab config, we're going to create some registry entries. So basically what we're going to do now is we're going to disable the TPM requirements so we can actually get this OS installed. So it's going to be a new D word, and I believe it's going to be bypass TPM check. And we're going to modify it and give it a value of 1. By giving it a value of 1, it means we actually are setting it active. Bypass RAM check. We'll also set this to a value of 1. New D word. Bypass secure boot check. We'll also give this a value of 1. And that should be all. So we should be able to close that. Go to install now. Let's do this again. We don't have a product key. We'll run it as a demo. 11 Pro. Next. Yay. Next. Not upgrading. We're doing a custom install. Gonna go next. And we're gonna let this run its update and take it from there. So, now that Windows has done its famous reboot, after installation, if you haven't installed Windows for a while, you'll see they've changed the installation a little bit. Yeah, cool. Let's click next. If in doubt, click next or right click, at least when it comes to Windows. We're going to use a US keyboard. No, we don't want a second keyboard. And checking for updates. Fantastic. This is really the time you want to check for updates. Although, I suppose I can't criticize it. Most Linux distros do that now. But they give you the option. That's always my argument. Give me the option. So, as you probably figured out, I don't have a massive hate for Windows like a lot of people do. It's also become quite fashionable, I think, to hate Windows. Mind you, it's always been fashionable to hate Windows. I just personally prefer Linux because I like to have the option of choice. I don't like my computer telling me what I should be doing. I'm old school. I believe it should be the other way around. And unfortunately, in newer versions of Windows, it takes it away. Having said that, though, for computers like my parents' computer, having upgraded that to Windows 10 was the best thing I ever did because it literally sorts itself out. Where they would always somehow break it with Windows 7, I have no idea how they accomplished that feat. And I do dread the day once it automatically upgrades to Windows 11, but I don't think it will support Windows 11 because of the TPM settings. So, yeah, I do think there might be a bit of a backslash with forcing people to upgrade their hardware, even if it does still work perfectly. But I guess it is what it is. And I see Windows is going to restart before it continues. Yes, I'm sure there's a Windows restart joke in there somewhere. And just a moment. Wow. I'm going to say one thing here. After doing a ton of Linux installs, they really make it difficult to install Windows, don't they? Damn, you'd think in this decade it would be easier to do it. We haven't even created an account yet. And we're still stuck on the welcome screen. And just for the record, I gave this virtual machine 6 gigs of memory. Let's name the device. I'm going to call it Goshi Win. And another just a moment. Okay. Did it just reboot again? Wow. You know, if you had played a game of Have a Shot every time it reboots, a lot of people would have had a lot of shots by now. Okay, and we're back to the spinning blue thing. And we're still back. And we're still waiting. Okay. So, how do we want to set up the device? For personal use or work or school? Personal. Next. And check this. It wants to add my Microsoft account. Now, I have a Microsoft account, but I don't want to use that. Sign-in options. Offline account. Hallelujah. I'm happy to see the offline account option is still there. No, we don't want a Microsoft account. Skip for now. Enter my name. Well, my name is Gosh, of course. And a very strong password. I don't ask me security questions. What was your first pet's name? Gosh. Oh, this is ridiculous. What was the name of the city where you something? Gosh. Ugh. What was your childhood nickname? Gosh. Obviously, those answers aren't correct. Oh, come on, man. Don't force me to... Yeesh. Do we want location data, settings, data, ink and typing, tailored experiences, advertising IDs? I'm just going to say accept for now. Afterwards, we can go and disable all that. You know, many years ago, I would have said it was easier to install Windows and Linux, but apparently not. Heck, even Fedora is easier to install than this thing. And remember, we checked for updates earlier? Well, guess what we're doing again? We're checking for updates again. Hi. Getting things ready for you. Oh, Microsoft introduced the screen from Windows 8, and I have to be honest with you, all these years later, the screen still makes my blood pressure boil. Ugh. Okay. I'm gonna pause this video before your blood pressure boils. And we're there. So we've got a desktop. So let's install the guest editions ISO so that we can have pretty graphics and some better drivers. So the idea of this video is not to say which OS is better than which OS. I believe use what you need to do to get the job done. So let's just install Virtualbox here. So install the drivers and reboot it. And yeah, let's try to go into full screen here. And here we are. We have Windows 11. Now, okay. I just want to go to my computer. Right. Okay. I think it's called this PC, isn't it? This PC. Okay. That's obviously called something. It's this PC there. I don't know why I can't pick it up. But anyway, so let's go to properties. And so it shows it's Pro, the feature experience, and of course all of that. So as we can see in newer versions of Windows, if you need to search, hit the search thing over here. Though don't try to search for. If you want your PC, you need to rather search for File Explorer, and then you can find your pictures or documents, and then just click it, and it will open up. You can see the interface has changed a little bit again. So they've been definitely moving towards this since the Windows 10 days. And of course, if you right click, you get the new type of menu. And if you need more options, you just hit show more options and you get the old. So, it's a bit of the old with a bit of the new. I can't personalize this at the moment because I haven't activated it. Yes, I can't. You can only personalize Windows if it's activated. Yeah. Okay, so going to all settings here. Also, how do I? Okay. Let's just go to settings. Okay, so what they've done is they have condensed the setting screens into more now. So if you want storage, go to storage, and it'll give you additional options or apps. If you need to add and remove programs, you would now go to apps and features, find whatever app it is, click on it, and just go and install. You have the option of securing where you get your apps from. So you can set it to Microsoft Store only if you are so inclined, especially if you need to lock it down. And of course, Edge is default browser. And we have a recommended get started to Windows. As you can see here, no advertising or anything now. Also, most likely because I'm signed in with a local account. As soon as you sign in with an online account, you might experience a couple of weird issues. If I go to Microsoft Edge and I open it, this is just what every person wants to see first. I can bring in my browsing data from other browsers. Do I want to sync in to sign data? No. And I want to start without data. Do I want to sign into Google? No, I don't. And I see now I can pull in its data plugins from Google. We don't want to make my experience better. Let's just start browsing. Okay, we're not done yet, so we can have horizontal, vertical tabs. Let's do vertical because why not? Dark theme. Next. Finish. And finally, we are on a website, or we can finally use this browser without having to worry too much. Looking at the Windows Store these days. Let it load. Again, has its top apps, features, top games. If you're an Xbox user, you'll see how similar it is. And of course, the different games collections. Of course, you could just hit top games, and it will give you a list. And of course, some deals, which if you use Game Pass, and of course, these games are included with Game Pass. So I'm just going to close that off there. Then what is this thing here? Chat. Okay, so it's part of Microsoft Teams. So to get rid of it, you would right-click Taskbar Settings, and you would take Chat off. What the heck is it? And if you hit this here, you get widgets, which shows you news and info and stuff, I believe. So I'm just going to turn that off. Task View is the equivalent of Virtual Desktop, so I'm going to leave that on. I'm going to turn that search off because it's not the best. And interestingly, things with the taskbar is by default, you can choose where to align. So you can align it to the left, you can align it to the right, you can align it to the center. You can hide the taskbar, but you can't move the taskbar. So in the old days, of course, you could move it to the side or to the top. Yes, you can get third-party software that can do that. You can, should you need to do should you really need third-party software to be able to move your Windows taskbar? I'm going to let you decide that, because I'm going to end up slightly annoyed there. And I suspect, as you see everywhere, it just keeps telling me to sign in, which we're obviously not going to. Windows Update. As always, still takes its time. I'll just hit done right now and close that. And then the control panel. Funnily enough, for backwards compatibility, still exists. But as you can see, as time is moving forward, more and more items are disappearing from the control panel and moving into settings. And if some of these, if you click on them now, it still shows you their old interfaces, and some of them take you straight to the new setting screens, which can be quite confusing. Cool. And see, backup and restore from Windows 7 still up to survive. And those programs and features are still around here. That's interesting. And if I turn Windows features on and off, so let's say I need to enable the Hyper-V, or if I need to enable the sandbox system for Windows or the subsystem for Linux, this is still turning this on and off in the same place. I wonder, I'll have to go back to settings, and I'll have to go to, apps, optional features, view features. No, that's just languages. Okay. Apps and features here. More settings. Well, yeah, I guess you still have to go to the other place. So that's interesting. So it's very interesting. Someone that's been using Windows since, oh golly, 95, and through all the years, it's amazing. I've seen how Windows has become a lot more stable than it used to be. If anyone complains that Windows is unstable, hey, you haven't lived unstable until you've worked on the 95 and Windows XP before Service Pack 2. That's unstable. Slow as Windows Vista. Although give Windows Vista enough memory and it's actually pretty decent. But it's amazing to see how Windows in many ways has gotten a lot better with its security. It's added a lot more features. It has a lot more parity now. I mean, you can SSH from Windows directly now. You don't need a third-party tool to do it. As ludicrous as that sounds. But then again, you can see how, from a user's perspective, as an everyday user, I guess it's fine. But, from a admin point of view, it's confusing. Multiple settings, control panels. I know it takes iterations for Windows to move on from where it used to be. So you need to be patient there. But I guess, if you were... One of the biggest advantages Windows always had was if you knew one version, you could work another one. It's generally the same now, but, a lot of people in IT and stuff, it's not. You're going to recommend an OS and, Linux, and, someone just has basic, reading, writing, watching something, probably YouTube, maybe Facebook, Twitter, whatever. And they have a relatively decent machine. And they don't need Microsoft Office. I don't know why you would recommend Windows anymore, If you have specific Office tools, definitely. Microsoft Office still rules the roost. That is what it is. In a corporate environment, there's still a lot of proprietary software, so Windows is definitely needed there. But yeah, I think in the advent of technology, it's to be an interesting future ahead of us, where Windows has gotten better, but at times gotten worse, and Linux distros have improved. And yeah, a lot of things these days are much of a muchness. Whether you're running Windows, Mac, Linux, you can surf the web on all of them, watch videos on all of them, type a basic letter on all of them, print basic stuff on all of them. Some of them you can actually move the taskbar around without needing third-party software. Ouch, I know. So yeah, that's a brief overlook at Windows. It would be great to hear your comments, and as always, thanks for watching.